Calling on a budget, Jake Fraley is back to hopefully improve the outfield.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked On Rays podcast. Locked On Rays is part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Now, the #1 sports podcast network, your team every day. And we are Kevin and Ulises.
And we are lifelong Rays fans who have been podcasting about the Tampa Bay Rays since 2019.
Later on today's show, we'll wrap up this fun Friday with baseball trivia and Name That War. In a few minutes, the Rays no longer have use for Bob Seymour and Cam Meisner. But to start, Jake Fraley is a Tampa Bay Ray again.
And we're going to talk about all of that thanks to FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the FanDuel app today. Kevin, you are right. And it seems that the Rays strategic plan is clear. Let's improve the outfield, but on a budget.
Yes, the Rays will not be signing Kyle Tucker. They will not be signing Cody Bellinger. They will not be signing Trent Grisham. They will be adding Ryan Vilade. And now Jake Fraley is a part of the equation, which I got to be honest, I like this move. If you're only going to allocate X number of dollars towards boosting up a portion of your team, i.e. the outfield, I mean, for the money that the Rays will be paying Jake Fraley, I think it's pretty good value because he has a lot of tools and he basically fits into what the Rays are trying to do pretty darn well, I think.
Right. And also we have to talk about the elephant in the room is that there's a lot of question marks in the outfield regarding the people that you should be hoping for pop. And from the left side, that's Josh Lowe. And if something were to happen to Josh Lowe, who has gotten injured in the last 2 seasons, you need a platoon bat that can mash righties and that can provide outfield defensively skilled tools in the 3 spots in the corners and the center field. So Jake Fraley kind of fits that bucket. Yeah,
he does. And that's the thing is with Josh Lowe, we hope that he can get back to what was the year he had got such a good season, 2023?
It's been
so I'm losing count of the last time he had a good season for the Tampa Bay Rays, which really isn't a very good sign. So if something is to happen to him, be it injury or lack of production, you can stick Jake Fraley in there and or just, give some guys a day off. Or if you're facing a right-handed pitcher, you can really load up with having Josh Lowe in the lineup and you have Jake Fraley in the lineup instead of, Chris Morel. So it increases the flexibility a little bit. And over his career, he has been a righty masher. He actually has a 112 career WRC plus. And, he's had Jake Fraley, has dealt with some injuries on his own. But I'll tell you this, if he somehow finds a way to play 100+ games, I would not be surprised if you see an OPS of, 760 to 780, 12 to 15 home runs, 20+ stolen bases, a high walk rate. He does what's needed to be done, and he has major league experience. That's the thing that has been lacking with this roster at times. I mean, the fact that he's got, 7 parts of 7 major league seasons with multiple different franchises, I think can only, help at the very least. We know he's going to provide some production, but also be a little, voice to some of these younger players that are trying to find their way and find their footing at the major league level. And
remember,
he's a gritty player too. I mean, that's another thing that you have to appreciate about him.
It's the mentality, right? That gritty mentality, the nothing was handed to me, which we know that the Rays really like in that clubhouse. Now, remember when the Rays got Jankowski and how in a very short time there were really good quotes about, hey, what a veteran he is and how I think this is that kind of move where you just hope that the experience kind of rubs off on guys. And look, Jake Fraley is not going to be a Hall of Famer by any means, right? But like that does, I think sometimes in the age that we are, we just think if a guy is not hitting has a 900 OPS and has 5 Gold Gloves, then they're crap. Like, no, they're professionals and they're doing this at the highest level. And to be at the highest level and having at least parts of 7 seasons, or like Jankowski, parts of 10, 11 seasons, that shows you something. You are valuable. I don't care what Joe Schmo says with Dorito crumbs on his beard. I don't care what you say. This guy's a professional. Good for the Rays for being able to pinpoint this guy. But I do think, even though all of the positive things I've said, it's not like Ryan Vilade and Jake Fraley now make me comfortable with the outfield. I really hope that's not it, but I think it's a good start.
Yes, I know it doesn't move the meter like you want or expect, but I would imagine that, look, I'm not going out and buying a Jake Fraley jersey, but to your point about, if a player's not giving you a 900 OPS and winning Gold Gloves and hitting 30 plus home runs, we don't care about him or think about him. I think we're spoiled by the Dodgers just because everybody is an all-star or a superstar.
Yes. And we're seeing people say like, oh, Chandler Simpson is not even valuable. It's like, are you bleeping kidding? Like, what are you talking about? Or people saying, oh, Luis Arraez is not valuable. Are really hitting 300 is not valuable at all? Like, yes, they're not perfect players. They don't do everything right. But when you can do something at an elite level, that's valuable.
It is valuable indeed. And, with the Rays going back to the Trop and all those guys in the outfield playing on the artificial turf, you're going to need some bodies. You're going to need some reliable bodies. And I think this was, part of the Rays plan with Vilade and Jake Fraley to shore that up a little bit. Again, not saying that you want Jake Fraley to start every game and give you 160 games in a season, but I think if you platoon him and put him in the right spots to succeed, he can do some solid things. I mean, I think you mentioned Travis Jankowski. I think Fraley is a better player and has had a better track record than Jankowski, just based on what he did in Cincinnati. But then again, Fraley probably got a little bit of a boost offensively by playing half his games in Great American Ballpark. So
you want to see
the power numbers may dip slightly, but no matter any of the 30 ballparks you go to, you're still going to have the option to steal a bag or to take the extra base or to play all 3 outfield spots or to work a walk so you can bring up the next guy and not have I feel like he can help move things along in the lineup to the next guy, whoever that next guy is.
I think that's why the move back to the Trop needs to be addressed. And I think that's what they're doing. Because it's going to impact these players. Now, when you move from Steinbrenner to the Trop, a lot of things might fall in for hits that might not have in Steinbrenner field. Like, we understand that, but there are some long balls that are going to be not even a warning track power. So then the equation of, oh yeah, I can withstand the strikeouts with the pop, that's going to be a lot more strikeouts and not a lot of pop if you go with certain guys in your outfield. So I think maybe this is a way to mitigate that. But again, like I said, I think it's a good move, but I really hope it's not the end all be all.
You hope that the Rays are utilizing that $11 million that they're saving from not having Pete Fairbanks and allocate that to a little something, a little something special that has some punch to it and moves the needle a little bit more than Jake Fraley. But I am totally okay with this move. I understand the move, and it might ultimately help the Rays win another game and a half, whatever it may be, when all the math is said and done. Now, the Rays, they've added Jake Fraley, but they're saying goodbye to quite a few players, namely Bob Seymour and Cam Meisner.
This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement of this sports season. Whether you're following the NFL, NBA, or both, there's no better time to jump in on the action, because if you haven't tried it yet, PrizePicks is the simplest way to play. You just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and if you get them right, guess what? Green Skittles go your way, you win. It takes less than 60 seconds to make your lineup, and you can play anywhere PrizePicks operates. So download the PrizePicks app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right.
Thank you for listening to the Locked On Rays podcast and making us your very first listen every day. We appreciate it. We are, of course, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. There's been a flurry of roster moves of late. They added Jake Fraley. They also added Forrest Whitley to the 40-man roster. That'll be a conversation for next week. But some of the guys that will no longer be part of the organization, at least for now, Bob Seymour, Cam Meisner, Cole Wilcox, Alex Fido, Fairchild, Lavender, Van Bell. So a lot of names getting cut bait there by the Rays. But what is interesting is the Rays, DFA, Bob Seymour, and Cam Meisner. And going back to your point, Ulises, there does seem to be a little bit more of an emphasis here on cutting down the strikeouts, because when Bob Seymour and Cam Meisner got the call to the majors, the short stints that they had, they showed that, major league pitching made it a little bit difficult for them at times.
Exactly. And look, we really enjoyed seeing the walk-off by Cam Meisner opening day. Glad that he has that memory. The many highlight reel catches he did in the outfield as well. He really had a really great glove. But ultimately, just the productivity kind of died down after a month and a half, and then it was just gone. And with Bob Seymour, I feel like there might be the availability of production in his bats. The problem is just like we talked about on Thursday's episode, you've got Yandy Diaz, who can play first base. I know he's more DH people, but he can play first base. You've got Jonathan Aranda. You've got Brandon Lau, who did play first base, and who will probably play first base again this year. Dude, that's 3 dudes. How many first basemen can you carry? It's a lot. And then I hear people in the background, we're not talking active, man. We're talking 40-man roster. How many first basemen can you have in the 40-man roster? And so, I think with Bob, it's just a matter of numbers. Someone's got to go.
Yeah, and he struggled mightily in the 26 games of action that he had at the big league level, had a 39% strikeout rate. I know he hit 30 home runs in AAA, but that does not necessarily translate to the big league level. We know he's got pop in his bat, but you also have to make contact with the baseball. And if you're blocked at a position like first base and it's not like Bob Seymour can play third. I don't think he can't play corner outfield. So you're kind of pigeonholed and stuck as far as that goes. Now, if Bob Seymour was, a hot shot prospect, a top ranked prospect, then maybe he would get some more run. But he was for all intents and purposes, a 26, 27-year-old at AAA. And kind of same thing with Cam Meisner. I mean, Meisner kind of fell into getting an opportunity by happenstance with some of the injuries earlier on in the season. And, he had that amazing moment on opening day, the highlight reel catches. It looked like he could have some staying power and stick around. And then it bottomed out. He's spiraled downward offensively. And the Rays, for one reason or another, feel like, hey, we got a better option. I mean, I'll tell you today, Jake Fraley is an upgrade over Cameron Meisner. So they did up their game in that respect. But I think overall, it just goes to show you that, yes, they are emphasizing cutting down the strikeout rate wherever they can, be it with Bob Seymour and Cam Meisner. And then, again, if you're not a junior Caminero level prospect or, pick a name, you have a small window to make a strong impression. And they are really, in my opinion, they're making any excuse not to keep you around. So you have to prove on multiple fronts and traverse the red tape to to prove that you are a big leaguer and that you can have staying power and that you can fill in the role that is given to you. Maybe not as an everyday player, but as a pinch hitter or a late inning defensive replacement. And Seymour and Meisner evidently did not show enough to do that. But going on the strikeout point for a second, the Rays, for the record, had the 11th most strikeouts in MLB in 2025 and the 16th most home runs. And with, as you mentioned, Ulises, the dimensions of the Trop, that is probably going to be, that is going to equate to fewer home runs. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, unless the Rays make a flurry of crazy roster moves, their total home run number is likely to dip to some extent. They might go from 16th to 20th. So you can't really afford to go to 20th in homers and still have, the 10th or 11th highest strikeout rate. So I feel like they're trying to be a little bit more dynamic offensively, not just relying on the home run and the strikeouts tied into that, but guys who have some plate discipline can knock a base hit. You hit it in the gap, you're at second or third. Jake Fraley can do that. You can work in at bat and move on to the next guy. And, Bob Seymour and if the Rays are prepared and focused on winning many more games in 2026, to me, I don't know how you could, if you have Bob Seymour on your roster and Cam Meisner on your roster for most of 2026, to me, that means you're in a little bit of trouble at that point.
It means things did not go according to plan. So when we look at this roster right now, we got to put our Eric Neander hats on and think, okay, well, what do we have? What kind of plan can we build because of the pieces that we have? And right now in the outfield, like we've said many times, a lot of speed. You got Chandler, you got DeLuca, you got Mangum, you got Palacios. That's four guys who are speedy. Josh Lowe, if he's not hurt, he has one of the best stolen base percentages in Rays history. I think he's something like 63 out of 70. Like, it's insane what Josh Lowe has done in the base path. So let's not forget that. So they're a very dynamic team. So in that area, what are you going for? Are you going for a 2014, 2015 Kansas City Royals type style of baseball? You can do that. The issue is that we know, like, in the last 10 years in the playoffs, whoever hits home runs is usually going to win. It did seem like the Blue Jays did have better home runs than the Dodgers, but the Dodgers had more clutch home runs. But having said that, the power comes from Junior, the power comes from Vilade, some power comes from Yandy Diaz. I do think we are missing some pop, so it'll be interesting to see how guys like Meisner and Bob that had that might not be as valuable, because the Rays are saying, look, we're not going to get 40 home run hitters. We might as well just go all in on the speed.
Right. No, that's a good point. And frankly, I know that, clutch home runs can win you games in the playoffs and win you a World Series. At this juncture, though, the Rays just need to find a way to win 82 games, have a season above 500 and not have 3 straight losing seasons. So maybe that's their, crawl before walking, before running. They're trying to build it up to some extent. But I was appreciative of what Meisner was able to do before his slide. And then Bob Seymour, you just salivated at the bat speed and the way the ball contacted off the baseball. But if you can't contact the baseball at the major league level and you're pigeonholed at first base, you're going to be in trouble, especially with the Tampa Bay Rays. So there it is. Look, we are in off-season mode, November. There's a lot of roster moves that happen and take shape. So we actually will have some newsy content to get to, I presume, over the next couple of weeks, which is fun to discuss. But first, we do have baseball trivia and Name That War, closing out a fun Friday episode.
The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. And you know what? You can always use them as green Skittles on FanDuel. That's always a lot of fun. And right now, FanDuel is giving you customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. You heard that right. $300 in bonus bets to new customers when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com right now to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Thank you for listening to the Locked On Rays podcast and making us your very first listen every day. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Ulises, what do you have in the avenue of baseball trivia?
You know, my timeline is still filled with World Series content, which is what I love. And I just keep seeing like things about Yoshinobu Yamamoto. So for today's trivia question, because I've just been like, how the hell did he pull that off?
Yeah.
Like humanly possible. That's pretty cool. So I started to say, man, he put a lot of innings this year for the Dodgers. Who've done the same for the Rays? So in front of me, I have the 10 pitchers who have the most innings for the Rays franchise. Top 10. Kevin, I am sorry to tell you that I'm going to need 8 or more out of these 10.
Holy cow. Okay. 8. Let's start with that. Most innings as a Devil Rays or Rays player, David Price.
David Price is correct at number 2 with 1,143 2/3.
James Shields.
James Shields, big game James, clubhouse leader with 1,454 2/3.
Charlie Morton. No, that was a bad guess. Don't.
Strike one.
Skip that one. Oh, you're giving me a strike on that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Scott Kazmir.
Scott Kazmir is correct at number 4 with 834.
Jeremy Hellickson.
Jeremy Hellickson is correct. Hellboy with 640 innings.
It has to be Chris Archer.
It has to be Chris Archer, Kevin Cash used to say. And he was correct. And you are too. Chris Archer is number 3 on this list. You have 5 of the 8 names that I need.
Now I'm struggling. I want to say not Jeff Neiman. I'll say Jake Odorizzi.
You'll say Jake Odorizzi, and I will say you are correct. He's number 6 on this list with 698.
Alex Cobb.
Alex Cobb is correct. That Cobber, so good. Number 5 on this list with 700 innings.
All right, dark horse here. Andy Sonnenstein.
Andy Sonnenstein, really good guess. That's for the OG Rays fans. And strike 2. By the way, before people let's give Kevin a little bit breather here.
Okay.
Kevin has 7 of the names. I asked for 8. He's got 2 strikes. Is he going to go still a long swing like in 2025 where there's no different swings in a hitter, or is he going to protect and choke up on that bat? What do you guys think?
I don't know why I'm thinking Jeff Neiman. Jeff Neiman, I'm going to keep in the back pocket. There's somebody, I feel like there's somebody notable that I'm missing.
BT Dubs. You have number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7. You're missing 8, 9, and 10.
Okay, so I really got the top 7. Okay, how about that?
Yeah.
All right, Edwin Jackson.
Incorrect. Strike 3. It was a dirty slider. You went for it. It's okay. Number 8. You're going to hate it. Matt Garza.
Oh my gosh, how could I forget?
With 592 and a third. Number 9, your favorite, Lakeland's own Ryan Yarbrough with 579 and 2/3. And last but not least, this man, he's got a goatee now. He's got a lot of millions. And boy, does he have a 2025 World Series ring and 2 Cy Youngs, Mr. Balake. Now.
Wow. Man, that's bad on my part. I apologize.
Yeah, the top 7, though. That was impressive.
All right. Very good. That was a good question. I almost got there.
Yeah, and
I fumbled it. Name That War, where we take a player from the past and try to guess their career war according to Baseball Reference on the theme of pitchers, on the theme of Yamamoto, who is from Japan, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have a player who is also from Japan, a pitcher who is also from Japan, and a pitcher who did play at least a couple seasons with the Los Angeles Dodgers. That name is Hiroki Kuroda. What is his Baseball Reference career war in the major leagues?
Watch me thinking that you were going to say Hideo Nomo.
No, because I think we did him before.
Oh, yeah, did we? Okay. Kuroda. Okay, wow. That's a name. Okay. Let's recoup here. Okay. How many seasons do we have Kuroda had in him?
Just a little hint. His last season, his final season was in 2014.
2014. Okay. I give you my Denzel. Okay. Let's go with 5 to 6 seasons.
Okay.
He probably had a really good season. Like a 4 WAR one. And then probably kind of mid-ish. 6. That leaves 4. 10 WAR. Maybe I'm underselling him. Maybe Kuroda was there for 15 years. Who the heck knows? I don't know, man.
He didn't play for the Rays. I know that.
I know that. All right, Kuroda. Let's go with a nice middle of the road 13.7.
All right, so Hiroki Kuroda played 7 seasons. Get this, played for the Dodgers and the Yankees. So I guess he wanted to play for the Blue Blood organizations, all the way on the Northeast and all the way on the West Coast. From ages 33 to 39 was his career. And I will say it was a very good career in the majors in those 7 seasons. He was never an all-star or a World Series winner, but I can tell you his career ERA is 3.45. I can tell you pretty much every season but one, he gave you between 183 to 220 innings. Just a really standout player. Actually, probably underrated when you consider all that.
Give me a couple more data points here.
I mean, I'm just going to tell you his final season, his age 39 season with the Yankees in 2014, 199 innings, 3.71 ERA, and he had 146 strikeouts. So maybe that was the thing, is he wasn't a big strikeout guy. But overall, very, very consistent, an ERA between 3.5, pretty much year in, year out. Just wasn't a big strikeout guy. I want to see what his whip is here. His career ERA plus was 1.15. Career FIP was 3.61. Career whip was 1.172. So just a very reliable pitcher. And in those 7 seasons, he had a cumulative WAR of 20.9.
Holy crap. That's a man who said, let me squeeze the heck out of MLB. Give me the 2 biggest franchises.
Yeah.
Maybe I hit it big. and then I'm just going to perform like a damn number 2.
Basically, yes.
Wow.
Let me see and he made, oh my gosh, he made $88 million in those 7 seasons.
Yeah, no crap. 2 quick things. How many innings did he pitch in these 7 seasons?
A total of 1,319.
Damn, he was almost like 200 every damn year.
Essentially, except for his second season where he must have gotten hurt or something because he only started 20 games. And he had 117 innings in those 20 starts.
That was a fun name, that war. Thanks for that.
Hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all enjoyed this episode and the week of episode. We have a lot more coming up beginning next week. But in the meantime, we hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, and we will talk to you later.